Okay, check it out. We are live right now. Now, actually, I have Dion Powell. He's actually a consultant here in New York City, and I'm very lucky to have him because the first thing I just want to mention is that one of the things that I asked him about was I was like, who else do you think could help my coalition? Who else would have knowledge about the candidates? And one of the things that Dion told me was that a lot of people who have this level of knowledge don't really want to talk about these kinds of issues. And I understand why, right? They're trying to get a job with these candidates. They don't really want to, and I understand you're under pressure not to say everything that you know, right? But still, most of them just don't want to have any conversation at all. I understand that, certain things you may not be as comfortable saying, but, you are providing an inside window of information here. So it's deeply appreciated. And, you stand out amongst all the other consultants for actually have a conversation with me. By the way, you're also not being paid right now, and your knowledge is extremely valuable. So I'm very lucky, and I'm, so sorry, but thank you so much. Yeah, your time is definitely appreciated. Okay.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Just so you know, I might be getting evicted at the end of the month, so using the wireless actually off my phone may actually be a thing that I use for a couple months or maybe even a longer time while I'm trying to figure things out. So I really got to learn to adapt here. It's quite interesting. Anyways, let's get to the business. You only have about half an hour, so let's get right to it. First of all, you can see right here, here's my little flyer right here. I think on the flyer that I sent out to my email list, I said it was Saturday because I decided to move to Saturday to avoid the 13th. But then I said, screw, I just had it on Sunday anyways because I wanted to avoid the Sabbath. So October 13th, I'm having a meeting with my coalition. Hopefully they show up to try to find out who we want to endorse for mayor, right? From people who are victims of CUNY, right? The City College of University of New York, right? This is a city agency to NYCHA, New York City Housing Authority. There's a lot of ways that the mayor, right, being the executive of the city branch, is very relevant for a lot of the people that I work with, right? MOPED, the mayor office of disabilities. There's also been issues like that I work with the disabilities crew, and the mayor means a lot for my coalition. So the thing is that right now I want to get a little bit of information from you about like some of these different candidates here, just really kind of understand and get like a little bit of insider knowledge about what you know and understand about the candidates. So let's start from left to right. I have on the screen, first of all, I have Jessica Ramos. I want to know who she's loyal to, who her allies are. And, also I'm trying to collect from my coalition maybe about $2,000. I see that's actually a common number that's pushed up by the candidates as the top level. And I'm hoping that maybe we can, it seems like Dion maybe dropped out, right? We're going to see what's up. Okay, Dion's coming back in. Okay. So
I think that's my Wi-Fi because I have, the problem is this is my third device I'm using on my Wi-Fi in my house. But, for whatever reason. But yeah, let's try it again.
Okay, so let's start off with Jessica Ramos. What do you know about Jessica Ramos?
Well, I heard that she's very liberal progressive. And, she's someone that, for my circles, is pro-vax, which is a big no-no in my circles, those mandates. Okay. And, usual go along, get along. And strategically, she has a leg up being Afro-Latina, I guess. Pro-LGBT stuff. So there's money in that, as they say. And
I'm not worried about vax so much, to tell you the truth, because the people who are fighting vax mandates are not part of my coalition. The fact of the matter is that they've never really worked with me. They've never responded to any of my emails or calls. They are actually, because they have ties to RFK, who decided to hire Nick Brana, and they decided to blackball me. So the vax mandates, although I am personally, right, not a supporter of vax mandates, the vax mandate people are not part of my coalition at all. I'm sorry to say. So her presenting vax mandates doesn't really concern me. But I do know that she's actually tied to labor. She has a lot of support from unions. I do, when you said that she's progressive, I think she also has a ties to the Working Families Party. Am I correct?
Yes, she does. And okay. So a few others here, but like I said, I apologize, everybody. Normally I have the computer going like Ed here, and I can pull up real time. So you're gonna have to do your own research, and you're gonna have to go to elections.ny.gov. You're gonna have to go to for this race especially. I'm gonna put that out here. New York, NYCCFB, New York City Campaign Finance Board. Yes, .info, NYCCFB, I think it is. Sorry, guys. But then when you go there, you go in the left-hand column to follow the money, and then you go to everybody's tab. I think it's damn, I can see it in my face. Anyway, the summary, and you just put in their names, put in the mayoral race, or That's how you find their campaign finance. For some of these state elected officials like Ramos, Zelnor, Zohar, you'll see their numbers on elections.ny.gov on the
I
campaign
will be getting
finance.
to that, right? I will be getting to that. So I know we only have half an hour, so I'm going to just blaze through real quick. Sorry to have my own questions. But that's a really good. That I'm going to ask you specifically about that in a moment, right? So one of the things that Jessica Ramos, I know that her real power base, because she's actually the labor chair for the New York State Senate. So she actually has a lot of good relationships with labor. Amazon Labor Union, I think, also is giving her a lot of money, stuff like that. Who else is her power base? Who is she loyal to?
Well, again, she's now with the progressives, now with the socialists. She has cross-party endorsement and fusion voting, Working Families Party, who I'm trying to get rid of. Yeah, so those are the power bases for some of these people.
But the thing is that, right?
Ed, you there? Is that me or you? So far, my Wi-Fi is working. Yeah, because the time clicker is going down on my end, but you're frozen, so I guess it must be your end.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, my internet's horrible. Yeah. All right.
That's because you're sharing the screen, brother.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's so bad. It is what it is. Yeah, this is what I'm dealing with right now. Oh well. So yeah. I'm sorry. What'd you say again?
No, I said because you're sharing the screen, that pulls a lot.
Okay, so you know that Ramos and Zelnor and Zoran and Brad Lander, right? All the ones on the left side of the screen, the first four, they're all progressive, right? So the thing is that which one of them is? I think that Zoran's kind of like the furthest left, maybe. Would you say that's correct?
Oh, I can't say, but most possibly I think it'd be Jessica because she has the abortion.
Okay, so she's putting the abortion rights thing.
Right. I mean, they all are, but as an Afro-Latina,
those types of votes.
right? But as an Afro-Latina, she has a leg up, with the identity politics. She checks off a lot of boxes.
So you think that she's actually a top candidate as from the ability?
You're breaking up, Ed. You're breaking up.
If we compare all the let me see if I can connect to the give me a second, guys. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. So the thing is that out of all the candidates, right, between Zelnor, Jessica Ramos, Zoran, and Brad Lander, which one of them do you think is kind of like if that's the far left, or as you might call it, right? Which one of those is really the most viable candidate or the most likely to actually, do the best out of those four, would you guess?
Well, in terms of viability and winning and money, it will be Lander. In terms of ideology and breaking through and doing the work in the streets, I'm gonna say Zelnor because I know him personally before he even went to law school. I think I know this guy. In terms of e-blasting and being in the media, doing things and writing pieces of legislation, he's a very knowledgeable guy. I can vouch for him, as they say. And Jessica, like I said, she checks off a lot of boxes. How you
I think
pronounce this?
Brad Landers won't because as comptroller, he should have been overseeing a lot of the money, but all the money that was, with all these federal indictments and stuff, he's kind of like holding the bag. He's the responsible one. If all this money was being misspent or money was coming in weird ways, he should have noticed something, right?
Yeah, but he could just throw Eric Adams under the bus because he actually built up a safety net of ways of freezing certain monies for shelters and small stuff to say, hey, I have a record of trying to stop Eric Adams, but as you can see, he's prevented me or tried to stop me. So that's his only fallback.
Okay. Just so you know, Jessica Ramos and also Brad Lander, I think, are the closest to the Working Families Party, right? Zellner is more establishment than he's less Working Families Party than I'd say Jessica Ramos or Brad Lander, correct?
Yes, and then Zohar, he actually has a lot of weight under his shoulder. I mean, around his neck or legs, in which the pro-Palestinian stuff. So that's going to hurt him out of everybody here.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's true. But they're trying to run him to like as an issues candidate. So I respect his work, but I understand that that's a reality as terms of New York City politics. So, all right. What about as terms of money fundraising? Said Brad Lander should be the winner there. What about Scott Stringer? Right, he's the last Democrat out of all of them. Right, what do you think about Scott? So in the lead, you would say it's either who would you put at the top of the chain on the Democrat side? The first 5 candidates, Scott Stringer is probably at number 1, right? Because of the money.
If you look, he has the second most amount of money behind Eric, and right now his reputation is tarnished. And then, he's Jewish, fine. He's a white guy, fine. But the thing is, there's a candidate that's a spoiler here you didn't add, Ed, which is King Cuomo II. And so that's somebody you should consider.
You think Cuomo has a possibility of running and winning again?
Yes, because a lot of people feel as though, he was, even though they didn't like him, the way he took him out was wrong. He got vindicated, and he's the most moderate centrist Democrat they would trust to, kind of balance things out. Everybody here.
Didn't he and his brother get canceled? And like his brother's not even on TV anymore. And, people died at the nursing homes.
Well, you see, he has that against him. Like the nursing homes affected me personally because my aunt died when he did that in the nursing home. And I had a court case, the lawyer told me. And his brother's back on TV with News Nation. And his brother's kind of like wishy-washy. Like, he's regressed taking the vaccine one minute. The next minute, he's, pro a lot of liberal progressive stuff. Now, Cuomo, on the other hand, is trying to play it safe. He went to Congress testifying about what happened during COVID. He danced around. He said, I didn't tell people to, not going to the nursing homes and, lies like that. So, yeah, the Cuomo family and brand is still there. And out of all these candidates, his stands out other than Scott Stringer for people who will vote for him on the Democrat and Republican side.
Okay. So the thing is that, okay, so we'll ask about Gonzalo and Curtis later, right? But the thing is that right now, I looked at Jessica Ramos's flyer, right, as in terms of her fundraising dinners coming up, I think maybe like in maybe 5-6 days, something like that. And she said that to be a co-sponsor of the event or like a co-host, $2,000 is kind of like the big money right there. And I bet you there's going to be a lot of people, right? A lot of industry people, unions, right? Maybe even industry people that are going to donate $2,000 to Jessica Ramos' campaign. Right now, they actually think to qualify for the first round, they had to get 1,000 individual donors, correct?
I have to look into that, actually. That's when you have to look at deep in campaign.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I said I would have to look into that because that's when you have to look deep into campaign finance regulations.
Okay. So if my coalition raised $2,000, right, for one of the candidates, right, because a lot of times, right, there's a lot of people they're helping, right, the labor issues, right, people, with all right, people that have lost their family members, things like that, like yourself or Gavin Centrone, who died at Reese houses. If we raise $2,000, it's not just one issue, though. It's a whole coalition of issues. What's our chances of getting our issues addressed? Once again, we know that there are some issues that are liabilities, like you said before, in New York City politics, like the Palestinian issue, right? Like the vaccine issue, right? But the thing is that those groups are not working with me or my coalition. So even though I may have sympathies one way or the other, if they're not working with my coalition, then it's right. So my issues, right? It's the wrongfully incarcerated. It's the people with disabilities. It's the people in public housing, the homeless, and that's really my coalition right there. I haven't really worked with leaders from any other group. I don't think these things are really controversial. So if we donated $2,000, what's the chance of getting all of our issues addressed? I think public housing may be a little controversial because they're fighting against developers, right? That's the toughest one. I might dump them, to tell you the truth, because they're not really carrying their weight. Out of all the groups, they're the least. They're actually the least successful and the least contributory to the coalition. They demand a lot. They don't put in they don't do a lot.
Well, the thing is, if you want to be strategic with fundraising, a colleague of mine told me something very key is you have a lot of people in your network, and Christopher Leon Johnson as an example. If you can get 10 people, 20 people citywide that everybody has $10, everybody contributes to their campaign to one candidate, that's leverage. You can say, hey, I may not have a lot of money, but I have a lot of people with $10 that we'll throw you a fundraiser, or you come to my event, and this will add up to get you qualifying for your threshold for matching fund. That's the leverage there. But then let's go to real estate, Ed. Now on the left side, as it were, with Lander on leftward, these people would use real estate from the nonprofit side. What does that mean? Like Theo Yoda exposed with AOC and her group with DSA, which we also forgot to mention. Nonprofit real estate takes over rent control and rent stabilized apartments. Like in my old apartment for my grandmother, I pay like $200 a month, 2 big ass bedrooms, a big living room, kitchen, etc. $200 a month. Crazy, right? Now imagine if they come in with their nonprofit real estate agents, developers, they take it over and they put it into supportive housing. Now they can make money off their substance abuse programs, the LGBT supportive programs for their emergency housing, and people with mental illness like myself, and keep them into these shared spaces and make money off that. Now, meanwhile, on the right side, I could speak for maybe Scott Stringer a little bit and say that, he wouldn't do it that way. He'll probably go the affordable housing real estate game through the private sector. Now, Gonzalo and Curtis, I can't really speak to because they're too new in the game on this level, other than their advocacy,
Okay, interesting. So I might do actually a fundraiser event for one of the candidates if my coalition can really come together. Also, I'm going to ask them to maybe put some money up in advance before the event to really make sure that, that they're putting the money where their mouth is, right? I hear a lot of blah, blah, help me, right? But if people don't put backing behind it, then they're going to get cut. That's just what I'm sorry, public housing, like I got love for y'all, but y'all are really failing. Y'all are really like spending your time grinding your wheels and chasing and telling me to do this, telling me to do that, and not giving me anything in return. And it's just not acceptable. You will get cut from this coalition. I will do it. So don't think I won't. Good to know. Okay. Now let's talk about, I do have some questions for you personally. Yeah. Sorry, there's going to be a little bit tough questions right here. Right. Yeah. Sorry to just throw this on you, man. You've been a good friend, but one of the things I really love about you, you said, I took the thing where you said, don't vote Democrat. Right. But then I know that also sometimes you have worked for Democrats, like that guy from New Leaf Democrats, right? You worked as a consultant for his campaign.
Who's this now?
Didn't you work as a consultant for that guy from New Leaf Democrats?
Oh, you're talking about Spur.
Whatever his name is. Yeah, I don't remember his name, but
yes, insurgent. Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm a former Democrat, but being a consultant, we all Republican Democrats are like consultants. We all have our chapter of American Association of Political Consultants, so we all make our money where we can. And if you're part of a big firm, whoever has the money.
I understand. You're a professional, right? You're in it for the money. I'm not mad at that, right? You deserve your knowledge is very worthy, and I'm grateful for you to be here. Go ahead.
But Ed, remember, I choose my clients wisely. That's why I don't get the big money, because I got to pick somebody that's doing the work, and I can actually, not say I fall in love with, but actually would help the community. I don't mind.
Not all Democrats are the same. Just like Bloomberg wasn't a real Republican. Let's be real, right? Like he was never really a Republican.
Neither is Eric Adams. He was neither a Democrat either. He was a Republican first.
Oh, he was a Republican at first?
Yeah, so a lot of these people do that. Donald Trump, another one that used to be a Democrat. Giuliani, another former Democrat. See what I'm saying?
Okay. Now the thing is that I also know you took a very brave stand going to I went with you to the Asian African American parade, right, where you held up the the Trump signs and stuff like that, right? That was actually a big move right there. Quite a strong statement, right? We were facing boos and stuff like that, and you were ready to face the slings and arrows of the community, right, to take a stand, and I value that. What about why isn't Curtis Sliwa, right, already giving you a contract? I would think that you would be a position of honor for your work for the Republican conservative community. I
Well,
think it would be automatic.
well, I know some people in Curtis's camp, but Curtis has a lot of different people in his ears that I would be not on the radar unless it's for grunt work positions. But I doubt that as well, because I work with people that Curtis likes on their campaigns, and I work with people that Curtis doesn't like on some of their campaigns. And the Bronx Conservative Party is a stigma because the Curtis doesn't want the Bronx Conservative Party's endorsement or Conservative Party endorsement at all. He doesn't like us per se. That's why Gonzalo's in a better position because he's a conservative, but he's willing to work with Republicans to use both lines. But the problem is the Conservative Party registered. He can't get the Republican line without Wilson McCullough being signed to get the cross-party endorsement. Whereas Curtis, he has a leg up in the sense that he's a Republican and he can do that. And he doesn't need the Conservative Party to, he doesn't want our party line,
What? But it wouldn't be like it's just a fusion line, just like the Working Families Party. Actually, a lot of candidates want to be on both. It's
Curtis
right, like
doesn't want to do that.
why would he not want to be on the conservative line?
Because a lot of people, believe it or not, Curtis is not as conservative as you would think. He doesn't believe in some of the Conservative Party values. He's a Republican.
A progressive Republican, correct?
Correct. So that's the issue, He doesn't care about us, and we run our candidate, Bill Pepitone, against him, who I supported last cycle for mayor. He doesn't care about us. He doesn't see the strategy in that, which is unfortunate. Some people want to die on their own sword of political ideology and party, which is, not the way to go.
Interesting. Okay, good to know. So, as in terms of getting him to support which one of these, you know what I stand for, right? Once again, my coalition, right? You know that I do have sympathies for certain things, but and when I said that the anti-vaccine mandate, right? Yeah, Crew has not really come out for me. You know that's true too, right? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah, so they're not part of my coalition. So out of the coalition that I have, which one of these candidates do you think would be actually, if we gave them $2,000, right? Or if we did like significant fundraising for them, which one of them do you think would actually, really adopt our positions?
All right. Well, I'll answer your question with a question if I can. Out of which one of these candidates has, engaged you, you've worked with, you've gone to their events, who's been on your show, which one of those people would you say?
I'm sorry, you phased out for a second. Which one?
My question to you is, out of all these candidates, whose events and activities have you gone to, who've engaged you, who's responded to you, who's been on your show, and stuff like that? Who would you say?
I've actually met with all of them, every single one of them, at about the same level. They've never really sat down really deeply, but I have pictures of myself with all these candidates, and they've all done something for me at one point or another.
All right, cool. Now the next phase of the answer your question is, I would go with Gonzalo because I'm on your platform, and with you you'll have easier access, to him working with me and him and some of our stuff. Like the African American Day Parade, we were there. The Conservative Party sponsored some of that stuff, and you attended, which is great. You come out for us, in the church event, and you put some positive press on your platform for us, which is great. We worked on a few other projects together virtually, which is cool. Now everybody else, Curtis might be able to work with you because he sees you in the streets. Guardian Angel sees you in the streets personally, and your work in with the street performers. So those are the two candidates out of everybody I see working with. Other than that, the other candidates, to be honest, Ed, with your stigma, my stigma, they're gonna keep at bay. They already know, and people are gonna tell you not to rock with either one of us. Maybe Stringer will rock with me because my capabilities, and he's been blackballed out of everybody there. But
Zelda, the Republicans, though, I'll be honest with you, like Ken Peck, right? He's actually and the thing is that Ken Peck's walking around with a lot of other former Democrats like Yatin Chu and Phil Wang, right? I'm not saying against them or for them, but Ken Peck actually emailed me once and said, "Okay, I'll do an interview with you," and then he stopped responding. So I'm thinking, I heard that the Young Democrats are running his campaign. It's either the Young Democrats told him to stop messing with me, or it's Yatin Chu or someone told him to stop talking to me, right? So I know that I have people in the Democrats that are fighting against that are telling me, gatekeepers that say don't fuck with this guy. But I think that's also happening to me in the Republicans. It's also happening in the third party space as well too, right? With the anti-vaccine mandate stuff. There's a lot of people that are saying don't talk to this guy. but I'm starting to make advancements. So,
Well, the thing is, the leverage you have, Ed, is the strategy I gave you, which is the money. Let's say me, you, Gonzalo, we do a big, small marketing campaign in our circles and beyond. Say, hey, DJ L7, either bipartisan branding, because they can't pigeonhole you with a 501c3, which is great, and say, hey, we're hosting a fundraiser for our first candidate out of many. We're committing to bringing 10 to 20 people to help them get their matching funds. And that's it.
Quick question. Let's break down the numbers real quick. I think you said that at last count, Eric Adams had like about $2 million for his recampaign thing. I think that you said that Scott Stringer has about $200,000 or something like that.
Yeah, but the problem with Eric is the same thing that happened to whatchamacallit, John Liu. If you remember what happened to John Liu and his treasurer, because they got into trouble, they didn't allow his matching funds. So all that money you see on campaign finance, New York City Campaign Finance Board, blah, blah, all that matching funds in the column, public funds, that's going to get removed. And then that $2-3 million is going to be dropped tremendously,
Okay. So the thing is that the thing is that I tried to say, like, my crew, right? Because you said like $10 here, $10 there. I actually yelled at in the last email. I was like, if you think that throwing in $5 in the bucket, right, and multiplying that by 8 is going to be $40, $80, right, with 2 people is going to somehow match against a $2,000 donation that matches up to $16,000 for $16,000 worth of petition and gathering and $16,000 worth of ads, right? You got to be kidding yourselves to think that your little $80 is going to get you an audience. So I'm trying to put my crew together to actually raise $2,000. If we raise $2,000 as a coalition, does that make us a real player in the game? Because you said $2 million before, right? Or maybe even like $200,000 with Stringer. Is that going to make us a player in the game, or are we still just another $2,000 donation candidate?
Well, the thing is, Ed, if DJ L7, the brand, hosts like parties, remember the house parties, that kind of stuff. If you can get 200 people in the room, right, and each one of those 200 finds a contribution card with $10 cash, at least just cash, straight up on that form. If you pile that up a nice folder and have that candidate walk through the crowd like any other celebrity in the club, blah, blah, how you doing, make their little speech, that's leverage, because now remember, they meet their matching funds requirements. So now it kicks in. Anybody from the city give them money kicks in. So you have the leverage of 200 people at $10 each. And on top of that, that $10 each is matched 8-1. For example, each $10 becomes $90. So the 90 times 200 is kablooey. And that's your leverage. You're not a 501c3. So, oh my God, I got to be careful. I can't talk politics. You're not a PAC. You're like basically, if you think about it, I'll say this, you're dark money now. That's the way it would be, and the thing is they can't touch you. And it's public too. That's it. But they know you have leverage. And plus it's cash money. So what are they going to do to you? You're just bringing people together.
Okay. All right. So we're going to try to have a meeting soon. I'm going to talk with my team actually about that on October 13th. That should be this Sunday. So hopefully my people come together for that meeting. We're going to see what's up. And thank you for your just since you have him on the line, I also want to ask about Christopher Leon Johnson. The thing is that I know that he actually I saw him a video before where he actually threw out Tina Forte's t-shirts and was saying all kinds of things. Then he went to an event recently. Now the thing is that Christopher Leon Johnson, I think he's kind of like a one-man spy operation, right? The thing is that I know that he used to say that he supports Palestine. Nowadays he's like, screw Palestine. He'll get to close to certain candidates. Then he'll kind of like be angry at those candidates. I think like, was it Lygia? He used to hate Lygia. He used to like Lygia. Now then he hated her. Now he seems with her again. It's like back and forth. He'll donate to, I think he even donated to Brad Lander's campaign, but I know he doesn't like Brad Landers. But there's a lot of strange activity. I think he's like a one-man spy operation, like just for himself, because he doesn't seem to be really loyal to anybody. He does seem to be consistent about his fight against nonviolence organizations. But what do you think is a consistent thread? I'm just wondering about Christopher Leon Johnson myself. I find him fascinating.
Okay, I love him too, Ed. Like I love you. You guys are loyal soldiers to me. You give me intel. We trade, information. Let me know Larry Lamb. Christopher Leon Johnson, savant in my opinion. I still go to your episode. Anybody that talks shit about him, who can I curse on the show? Of course. I show him that video that you guys did together. And he went from number 1 to 51 in city council off the top of his head, no freaking computer, who the players are, who the incumbents are, how much money they raise. And that's why I keep people like him and you close. You're so knowledgeable, even though we're all social misfits and that kind of stuff. But for him, like you, people are like, well, what's the end game? Your end game is very obvious, which is housing. You know, there are issues you're fighting in criminal justice. Those are your two wheelhouses, you know? But for him, people are like always like, oh, yo, he pissed me off. He's offensive, you know, blah, blah, which is true.
My real issue is, right, getting myself Asian American and like
Right.
anti-war issues. But the thing is that because I'm Korean American, my issues are not recognized. So I have to work with the coalition because I know that I'm so pushed out by the anti-war people that are running the movement, like Brian Becker and Medea Benjamin, that have blackballed me. Right, I have to actually go out through different routes.
Right. But for him, he's an enigma in the sense that he is someone that's everywhere, right? For his own gratification. For example, he loves taking pictures. He wants people to feel as though, you know, he's a reporter in his own right. He has a shield now. He's a reporter.
I think he may be paid to cover some of the events.
Well, that's the thing, though, Ed. Just like yourself, some people are in his realm of influence that knows that his platform is up and coming. So if you're an independent candidate and you see him everywhere, he has intel, he's a consultant in his own right, then, you know, you'll compensate him by inviting him to a free event. Like, you know, there's these dinners and fundraisers, he might get a free ticket. That's the quid pro quo. They might not be paying him cash money, but not for him. He's happy. He's in that space taking pictures at the fundraiser, this, that, and third. He's giving them free PR and free pictures for themselves and videos they could take for their own social media purposes, you know? And that's what he's very good at.
All right. Well, that's interesting. Okay. So I always just wondered about it. You know, I love his work ethic, but I just wonder where his loyalties are and what he's really, so just kind of uncovering it, right?
Well, the thing is, he like myself, where people always question my loyalty, that I was a Democrat, now they think I'm a Republican, I'm a third party, I'm a consultant, I work for anybody, I'm a gun for hire, is that he's smart in the sense that he's loyal to himself, being like, oh, Dion, we see you with Kennedy 1 minute, now we see you with Trump. Whose side are you on? Well, I'm on my side. If you're not on your side first, then what the hell are you doing voting? You know, if it's not doing something for you. So if he is in that mindset, then that actually shows that he's actually smarter than the average bear. Because most of these people are trying to get along, you know, feel as though they're included, accepted, or gain power, control through other means, but he's about himself and then outward, you know. But he does know how to testify before city council. He has his niece, you know, it becomes personal. He's civically engaged. He's willing to share that to the world where his platform builds his brand. But at the end of the day, you know, who is he loyal to? To himself. Now that makes him
talking about the right there. I'm probably going to wrap this up unless there's anything else that you want to mention. Just you know, this is Dion Powell, by the way. His email's on the screen, dion@newyorkconsultant.us. When I talked about my coalition earlier, I consider you to be part of my coalition. You've actually provided me a lot of value. Some people are saying things to me that they don't want me to tell you about, and I won't tell you about that yet. I'm going to try to tell this person, right? Yeah, I think Dion so much should be brought in, but I consider you a partner. And just so you know, when I approach these candidates, which I will also be approaching, by the way, all the lefty candidates, right, that may cancel us and stuff, right? They're going to be fighting each other, and we can take advantage, right? But the thing is that when I do that fundraiser, I'm going to have certain people that I'm going to be inviting to perform or speak at that event, like myself, like Reverend Keith Gadsden. Maybe the public housing, we'll see if they'll show up, right? They've been a little disappointing so far. The disabilities guy, right? I'm not. He has his own particular ideas, and see if we can really get that fundraiser going. So, are you willing to, even if it was a lefty candidate, if they're willing to address your issues and bring you up, what would they have to do really to get you to support them? Would they have to change the position on, like, let's suppose it was Jessica Ramos. Like, let's suppose that I finally got through to her people, right? And she said, you know what? I'm still going to do my vax thing, right? I'm not a fan of the vax mandate, but let's suppose you decide to ease up on it. Or what do you really want out of to support a candidate here? Maybe it's the payment, right? Maybe they got to respect you and pay you. But what do you really want from these candidates?
Well, a contract, my brand, my notoriety, give me access. I'm very big on access, giving people like us access to these realms, not trying to keep us out. You know, that's sometimes more important than money, you know, being a network. So from them, I'm willing to work with socialists. I don't care. You know, they have the budget. They want to bring me on. And I can actually agree with certain issues. Like if they're about abortion until the baby falls out, no. Planned Parenthood can hire me. They put those jobs out. Like, no. But if they're workable, then I'll do it. And for you, if you I gotta take this call, Ed.
Don't worry about it. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So thanks
right.
again. I'm gonna reach out to all the candidates with this, and thanks again for your. I'm gonna try to take care of you, man. You took care of me, so and I like working with you, man. God bless. God bless. All right, folks. I'm gonna check the chat right here, see if there's anything going on. No. All right, I guess that's it. Peace. I guess this is the end. Thanks. I'm gonna end it right here. All right, I'm done. I just hit end stream.